Right, assalamualaikum everyone. So welcome back to the Pepe update today. Yesterday there was no update, got caught up in some stuff, and today you can now join for June private entry, and we do close on 31st of May. So a lot of people have been asking if when's the entry gonna open. So it is open on 20 and until 31st. If you join right now, you get 10 days for free, by the way, until your real time doesn't actually start in June. All right, so there has been a great amount of manipulation, and by the way, I've posted this picture about Bitcoin, by the way, and if you notice what Bitcoin has been doing, it has been pretty awful for quite some time, and I do not really understand why exactly is Bitcoin really trying to do whatever it's trying to do. And all I said is just look at the manipulation at the end of the triangle, right? Look at that manipulation. So you have almost a diamond top in here, and if we kind of like zoom in there, you can see that there's been a move to the upside. All right, this one could make sense because it actually popped to the upside. That's not a manipulation, but what happens is that you go down and you go under the triangle, then you pump back up again above the triangle, and then you go below the triangle, and then you're above the triangle. It just doesn't even make sense what exactly Bitcoin at this point of time was actually doing. Now, Pepe was, reflecting the exact moves of Bitcoin. Of course, when Bitcoin moves, it's going to actually move the altcoins. And if you look at Pepe right now, it is now at 1266. And the only thing that I've figured out about Pepe with all these moves that has been happening is nothing more than this being your support, and support, a break to the upside, one of the biggest retests that you could even ever imagine of. So it was very big that it actually pushed up to 1421, and by the time it actually went to 1421, there's another resistance a little bit that actually appeared here, right? So this is another resistance that was actually there. So you really have to like pay a lot of attention to actually find out that this was a trend line going on for Pepe, right? So it actually pumped so hard that it actually went to the second resistance instead of being rejected at that resistance over there and being rejected at this resistance over here. It actually pushed all the way up and got rejected to the resistance number 3. I know there's a lot of trend line going on, but they're all actually pretty valid. And right now it was a retest, and you can see the closing. However, a couple of times the closing was still under this particular line, right? So the closing was actually still there. Maybe if I can turn on Heikin Ashi candles, maybe you could actually find idea. I don't know if we have Heikin Ashi anymore. Here it is. All right, so if you look at Heikin Ashi, by the way, Heikin Ashi are candles that are filtered. They actually what do you call this? They're average candles that shows the average move that was happening for that particular coin. So if we actually turn on Heikin Ashi, you can see there's a lot of great filter coming through, and it actually makes sense what Pepe was doing. So all I can say is the following: with these candles, it becomes a little bit more clear that you can see all the noises get filtered out, and as a matter of fact, you can see these were just wicks. Do you notice the difference between the normal candle and the Heikin Ashi? So the Heikin Ashi just showed that there was a lot of wicks to the upside, and the thing is that the closing was still below under that trend line. So these wicks were just like stop loss hunts, and the real retest was actually all the way up to 1362 or 1358 or something like that, and then eventually you got forced to go down. So what does all this mean moving forward? What happens now that we've understand that this was almost like a valid retest, but it was a very harsh one? Pepe now, as long as it doesn't really make it above this 1429, we do have a high that we can actually count on, and that is 1429. So if you don't make it above 1429, then you're probably going to fall down, and you're going to fall down to this technical target of top to bottom right there, and you have retested the trend line, and you have placed the trend line here. Pepe is safe to say that it's on a technical journey to go down to 1093. However, you can be taking trades and whatnot, but the thing is, the market is highly manipulated. And by the way, this is a very big stop loss if you even think about it. So it's a very huge stop loss right there. If you do get lucky and manipulations do not really happen, then maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit of this downtrend happening right now. It's going on, and there are chances that we could also see maybe a little bit of this move back up to, I'm going to show you. So this could be your entry, right? So if you draw this trend line on the 5 minutes time frame, there has been this little bit of distribution, sideways movement, consolidation, where you actually broke below, you came down, but you haven't retested this trend line. So there could be chances that we see this trend line getting retested one more time at 1342, and 1342 can be your entry, right? With probably a stop loss at 1368. Because that's the highest level of the consolidation, and you shouldn't be coming up here if you're going to be turning that support into resistance. The highest you can actually go is maybe 1348, maybe 1350, but you shouldn't be getting above this highest point of that consolidation, because it is going to invalidate this thing. It actually means that the retest has passed. You have passed the retest. So if you go back for that retest and fail, then from there you could be lucky enough to actually see the coin go down to that 1098 technical target. And that's it for the video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Love.